Okay. This is Sabby Sab's video about well, it's about Nina Turner versus Jimmy Dore, but it's a lot more than just that. Um, and my opinion, the Fred Hampton leftist network and the associated channels, they're like some of the very best stuff that's on YouTube. I mean, and this thing has like 3,800 video views. That should be like 3 million. So that is just, I don't know. But this is a pretty long video, so I'm gonna kind of jump in and out and hit some of the parts that I really want to comment on. So let's get going here.
We got to get into this story about Jimmy Dore and Nina Turner. And I am going to do a call-in segment tonight right after this because I do want to hear from you guys. I want to start off by saying this. Originally, I did not want to talk about this. Those of you who are in DM groups with me know I really did not want to talk about this. A couple people reached out to me and asked me, what did I think about Nina Turner's statement in reference to the anti-Blackness and her being a Black woman since I'm a Black woman? And then I thought, there aren't many Black women in this space, so it may look kind of bad if I don't talk about it, you know? Sometimes you just can't win. Shit. Some people are going to get mad because I talked about it. Some people will get mad if I didn't talk about it. Whatever. I want to try to, I guess, present both sides of this situation that has happened. And we're going to start with the original tweet. We're going to go through. But I have to tell you, after seeing all this whole exchange yesterday on Twitter, and I know people have had battles here and there on the left and there's been disagreements. This time, I don't know, it made me feel kind of sad. This time it was different. I don't know why. I think maybe as I talk about it, I'll understand why it made me feel that way. But this time I felt like it was on a different level and it just made me feel not good. So I want to start with this original tweet. This is the tweet that started it all from what I have seen. This tweet came from Nina Turner and she said, my prediction of the fallout of the FBI raiding Mar-a-Lago is that we're probably going to see a bunch of MAGA Republicans call to abolish the FBI. Now, let's talk about this for just a second. When I first saw this tweet, I'll be honest with you, I don't think I took it the way some people did. But I looked at it again and I see how some people could take it that way too. When I first saw this tweet, I felt like it was what she said it was, that she was making a prediction where she says, my prediction is this is going to happen. Granted, there were people, and we talked about this the other day, that MTG and Candace Owens, kind of did just that in a sense, right? But then another part of me just kind of feels like, even if they did do that, so what? I'm all for abolishing the FBI. I'm all for let them go.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it here and make a comment. There's a difference. If these red team clowns are serious about abolishing the FBI, that's one thing. Or if they're just grifting to get clicks or tweets or whatever it is on the internet, that's something totally different. Which, like, if the red team had legislation in there that they were proposing, like if they had legislation in committee somewhere to abolish the FBI, yeah, okay, that's one thing. But if they're just doing this to, own the blue team or whatever, that's something totally different, which that's what I think it is. And I think we'll get into that. She's going to get into that a little more here, but I just
go, okay? But that was the way I saw the tweet. Then I saw other people point this tweet out to me, and they took it differently. And Jimmy Doore is one of the ones that took this differently. And I've looked at this again and I said, oh, I can see that point too. Granted, when I'm on Twitter, I'm not trying to look deeply into tweets most of the time. I just read and
maybe
skim and
stay
move
off
on, that kind
Twitter
of
and you'll
thing.
be better for it. But side note.
Now, this goes on because so Jimmy Doore responded to this tweet. He said, when lefties cheer about when lefties cheer on the FBI, you know they're serious about being a Democrat.
Okay, this is fucking stupid as just let's look at this. When lefties cheer on the FBI, you know they're serious about being a Democrat. There are no lefties in the blue team. The blue team is the even more fringe right wing of the corporate party. And she's not cheering on the FBI. She's just making a prediction about what the red team pundits are going to say about this event. This is idiotic. This whole thing is just fucking stupid. I'm sorry, she can go on.
And so I looked at that and I read this tweet again and I thought, is she cheering on the FBI? And I think this was the part where I could see both sides of it. I could see that some people will read this and see, oh, she's cheering on the FBI.
How is that cheering on the FBI?
And some people will read this and say, oh, she's making a prediction that this is what's going to happen with conservatives. So I can see both sides of it. I want to make that very clear. Now, so far, this is not the part that made me sad. I'm starting to feel it now because we're getting into it. Nina Turner responded to Jimmy Doore's tweet here. And she said, when Jimmy Doore knocks a Black progressive woman for pointing out conservatives' hypocrisy when it comes to the FBI, you know he's serious about being anti-Black and protecting conservatives.
Okay, now I want to comment on this. Jimmy Doore knocks a Black progressive. Okay, I'll agree Nina Turner is Black, but a progressive? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Nina Turner is a standard blue team right winger. There's nothing progressive about her. And yeah, she did point out red team hypocrisy when it comes to the FBI. But then you know he's serious about being anti-Black. Nothing in there has anything about being, and just because he's Caucasian. I mean, this is really annoying. This is like when a Caucasian person attacks Obama and they're like, oh, it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that he's a Wall Street puppet or a warmonger or a fascist. Oh, you just don't like him because he's half African. He's only half Caucasian. That's why you don't like him. This is that same bullshit. I'm sorry. I'll let her continue.
And now I feel it again. This is the part I think that makes me feel sad. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not even the part about protecting conservatives. It's the part about being anti-Black. It was very clear to me that this is something that Nina Turner has been feeling for probably a while. And it came out kind of like word vomit in this response to Jimmy Doore. Here's the problem. If you look at Jimmy Dore's tweet, when leftists cheer on the FBI, you know they're serious about being a Democrat. If you go back and you look at Nina Turner's original tweet, when she says her prediction is these are what MAGA Republicans are going to do, there's nothing in either one of those tweets that has anything to do with race. So it made me sad. It made me sad to see that Nina had to throw in the anti-Black part whether that's how she feels about him or not, I had to ask myself, does it fit the current situation at hand? No, it didn't. That's the problem. Have you ever seen people get into an argument before about one particular issue? Couples go through this sometimes. They may get into have a disagreement. Maybe it's over something stupid like someone forgot to empty the dishwasher. Let's go with that one. Let's go with the domestic shit. And the next thing you know, during that argument, it quickly goes from you forgot to empty the dishwasher to I think you're an asshole. I don't like you. You do this, this, and this. Now, all of a sudden, there's all these other elements that have been thrown into the argument that really had nothing to do with the situation at hand, which was emptying the dishwasher. Now you take a step back and you look at it as though, wow, damn, this is what this person really thinks about me. This is what they've been thinking about me all this time. And I really think that's what Nina Turner thinks about Jimmy Doore.
That could be. That could very well be. I obviously have no idea what she thinks of Jimmy Dore. If she's a halfway intelligent person and thinks Jimmy Dore's a dipshit, then she needs to put that in here. Like, nowhere in here does it say Jimmy Dore did blah, 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 blah. It's just this. You know, when all you say is just this, I didn't mean to click on the screen. When all you say is just this right here, then any other context, this is just, you got to take this as it is, as a block of something she's saying. If she had like, oh, Jimmy Dore did this, Jimmy Dore did that, then you could come in and say he's serious about being anti-black. But she doesn't back that up with any corroborating evidence. All she has is this right here, and there's nothing else. I mean, this is one of the things I hate about these stupid posts on Twitter or whatever the fuck it's on. Like, this, when you write something that's like one sentence here and that has to stand by itself, I'm sorry, let me just let her continue.
I don't think it was fair to throw that in with this particular situation because, again, this has nothing to do with race. And this is not me saying that Nina Turner shouldn't express what it's like to be a black person, a black woman, etc. I talk about that often on this show. I don't think I'm saying that she shouldn't talk about that. But you have to ask yourself about the context. Is it relevant in this particular discussion? No, it's not. I've had criticism of Nina Turner. I don't agree with her on everything. I don't agree with Jimmy Dore on everything. But I never thought I would see her stoop to that level. I really never thought that. I felt like that was low and I felt like that was dirty.
I'm no fan of Jimmy Dore, but yeah.
What's worse is that it goes on. So Jimmy Dore responded here and said, I've admired Jimmy from afar. He says things I can't say. Now, that's actually a quote that Nina Turner says in Jimmy Dore's intro, actually, for a show. He goes on to say, I called her out for cheering on the FBI, and she uses the cheapest, ugliest form of identity politics.
Stop again. I called her out for cheering on the FBI. Nowhere in this bullshit we've seen so far does she cheer on the FBI. He's just making that up. Then this second part I do actually agree with. She uses the cheapest, ugliest form of identity politics as a shield. Truly, yep. She's against defunding the FBI and she sits on the police. I have no idea if this is correct or not. But, okay, this part here, bullshit. This part here, yeah. Like, okay,
politics as a shield. Truly repulsive. FYI, she's against defunding the FBI. She sits on the Cleveland Police Foundation board. By the way, some people were skeptical about that. That actually is true. Seriously? I mean, I thought more people knew that, but no, that's actually true. Here's the picture here.
Holy.
Cleveland Police Foundation.
What?
So that's true. But I just felt like I just feel like there were so many other things she could have said if she wanted to prove her point. Like I felt like that was a low blow.
Because she
Like
doesn't
I
have a
said, even
point.
if that's the way that she feels about him,
That's all
I
she
don't
had.
understand what that had to do with the discussion at hand. And then it kind of made people, some people looking at me some kind of way, which is when I start getting those DMs. You're a Black woman. What do you think about this? So now I hope that everybody who sees this doesn't assume that
I'm a white dude and I have an issue with this.
this is how
Sorry,
all of
keep
us
going.
feel, because this is not how I feel. I've never met in person, I've never met Nina Turner or Jimmy Doore, but I do know Jimmy Doore.
Okay, let me stop it again. I have met Jimmy Doore twice. The guy is a giant douchebag. I'm gonna cut in Ned Flanders here talking about what I think of Jimmy Doore.
Oh, yeah, the clown. The only one of you buffoons who doesn't make me laugh.
He's been on this show. I've been on his show. I have had conversations with him. I only saw Nina Turner once on a stream. It was at Jen Perlman's birthday thingy. I didn't know Nina Turner was even coming to that. She came on for a little bit. I didn't really get a chance to talk to her. I don't really know her like that. But I can tell you that what I have seen and what I know from Jimmy Doore, I don't think Jimmy Doore is anti-Black. I don't think Jimmy Doore is racist. And I really don't like when people do that.
Yeah, I once again will agree. I've never seen anything that Jimmy Dore is racist. Just being a dick doesn't make you racist, but go on.
I don't like it. I know that they've had disagreements before, but I felt like that was such a low blow. Just you did not have to go there. And it just keeps getting worse. And now Jimmy Doore did respond. He was on Convo Couch. I don't know if Nina Turner's respond. I haven't seen anything yet. But I want you to listen to what Jimmy Doore had to say here on the Convo Couch.
The Convo Couch. I never watched this. All right, I've seen a few clips of it, but the guys on the Vanguard refer to these two as Dumb and Dumber. I've seen individual stuff they've said that's absolutely idiotic. Okay, go on.
Check this out.
It was very disappointing to see her. You can disagree with my criticism, but you got to call someone a racist because they criticized you, and that just shows you that I hit a nerve. She knows she's a Democrat, and this is all first of all, that tweet of hers calling out their right wing's hypocrisy about the FBI. You call out their hypocrisy when they're in the wrong. You don't call out their hypocrisy when they're in the right. You welcome them over to the correct side.
No. Okay, dude. Once back to, I think I mentioned this earlier in the video. If they were actually serious about defunding the police and defunding the FBI, that would be, then you welcome them over to your side. They are not serious about, all you have to do is mention to them about how some African socialists got raided by the FBI. And they're like, yeah, we fucking love the FBI. Hell yeah, America. They are not legitimate actors in this, and he's somehow assuming they are. There's no way he could possibly think that. This guy's an idiot, but he's not that fucking stupid. Go on.
If they now start to come on board for Medicare for all, are you going to then flip them
That's
off
not gonna happen.
and call them assholes because they used to say they were against it? That's not how this is supposed to work. So now that it's happened to the Republicans or the MAGA, the Trump supporters, now they'll see. Now they get it. They're like, oh, the FBI is corrupt. So you should welcome them. You shouldn't then keep flipping them off and shitting on them. And that's all the Democrats have. And that's what Nina Turner is. She's a Democrat. That's what her future is. That's what this is about. Her career in the Democratic Party.
Okay, that
This is
part is
about her
correct.
career. This isn't about any principle, because if it was about a
Once
principle,
again,
she would be
correct.
welcoming those people who are criticizing the FBI instead of flipping them off.
Right, but dude, their criticisms are not legit. Therefore, your point is invalid.
And then doing the cheapest bullshit, hiding behind identity politics. Oh my God, calling out and calling hey, you want to disagree with me about the FBI? Let's disagree about it. But she can't do it because she knows she's in the wrong. And so she does that thing. She's the pits, man.
Does she realize who her president is, what administration she worked for? And he says, you're running a cover for one of the most anti-Black administrations in recent history. You're excusing the political weaponization of a domestic terror organization, the FBI, with a history of anti-Black activity that includes kidnapping, rape, torture, and murder. But sure, blame Jimmy Doore. And I mean, amazing tweet out there too as well. I mean, Joe Biden, who wrote the crime bill, and you want to come over there and says, because Jimmy says that you're being critical of the FBI, that he's anti-Black. I mean, is not this administration one of the most anti-Black administrations that we've ever known?
Let's talk about
At
that
least since
for
the
just a
60s
second.
or the 50s.
If we want to talk about anti-Blackness, now I'll get to these other responses in a second. We want to talk about anti-Blackness. I want to think about when she mentions, the left versus right. I've mentioned this before, that when it comes to the Democratic Party, they've also been anti-Black, and they've done it through legislation, which is even worse. Joe Biden's crime bills targeted who? Predominantly Black people.
Poor people.
I have noticed this pattern of liberals in the Democratic Party.
Okay, I gotta disagree with her a little bit here. There are zero liberals in the Democrat Party. The last liberals or leftist in the Democrat Party were Dennis Kucinich and Cynthia McKinney. They've been gone a long time. Look it up and see how long. But yeah, there are zero leftists in the Democrat Party.
Who will continue to try to pretend like they're not racist, pretend like they're not anti-Black, but then they participate in the same systemic issues that perpetuate that same anti-Blackness. They participate in redlining. They participate in gentrification. They participate in housing segregation, even in these deep blue areas. I live in Massachusetts. I've seen it firsthand. They participate with school segregation. Even though it's not segregated by law, they have other things that they do to keep Black kids out of those schools. Those are the liberals here. Those are not the conservatives.
They're not liberals.
So it just seemed like to me, and I'm saying this because she goes on about more right-wing talking points. It seemed like to me that if you're going to call out one side for doing that, make sure you also call out the liberals who have actually been just as guilty as being anti-Black, because they have implemented legislation, they have implemented laws that has done nothing but destroy the Black community and keep the Black communities down. Let's make sure you add that in there too. Because she goes on to say, let me be clear, Jimmy Doore repackages anti-Blackness and right-wing talking points and sells it in a way that some leftists are willing to buy. He has used right-wing talking points against me multiple times and even defended Rittenhouse. He's making millions doing it.
Okay, let me break this down. Jimmy Doore repackages. I don't like this part right here. Like I rarely ever see anything Jimmy Doore does anymore, but I'd have to see that. She'd have to show the evidence for that. Right-wing talking points, of course. Jimmy Doore is a right-winger. He's going to use right-wing talking points and sells it in a way that some leftists are willing to buy. Well, then they're just fucking morons. If you're dumb enough to, yeah, okay, he has used right-wing talking points against me multiple times. show evidence, please, and even defended Rittenhouse. I have no idea what Rittenhouse is, but whatever. He makes millions doing it. Well, we live in a capitalist world. Good deal for him, you know? Whatever. Which Jimmy Doore, once again, is he used to sit there and call out TYT for how they sold out for $20 billion or $20 million. Bro, you sold out too for probably less than that. So I'll let her continue.
So here's the question that I have, Nina. So if somebody criticizes you, if somebody criticizes the Democratic Party, if they criticize the way that you ran your campaign, which many of us have, does that mean that we're automatically using right-wing talking points? Does that mean that we're automatically anti-Black? You're not allowed to receive any criticism from the left? No, I call bullshit. That's not okay. Why is it a right-wing talking point because someone is criticizing you? I just feel like this just sets a dangerous precedent. It makes it seem like, going forward, are people going to feel like they can't criticize Nina Turner now, or she's going to call them anti-Black too?
Yeah, that's the same thing as when you criticize Obama.
What do we do? What do we do here? Okay, she says he even defended Rittenhouse. What does that have to do with, first of all, I wouldn't necessarily say he defended. I saw that video, and it looked like to me it was a lot of video footage that, what's his name? Orf made, which were a lot of things I actually didn't know about until I watched that video. But I wouldn't necessarily say he defended him per se. But what? It just seems like to me there is this mentality that even if someone on the other side, on the right, may be correct, if you're on the left, you're not supposed to admit that. Don't be so, I guess I would say, just don't be so fixated on your hatred for people on the right to the point where you can't even admit when they're right on a particular issue.
They're correct on a
This is the problem with the two-party system.
The one-party
People
system.
are so brainwashed to back their party that even when their party is wrong, they will defend it. Even when the other side may be correct on an issue, they will still smear them just because they're on the other side. Now, this goes back to the point that Jimmy made in that video about conservatives, some of them waking up to this idea of the FBI, of the problems with the FBI. Jimmy Doore said, well, don't crap on them. You should start to welcome them over. I just feel like, again, like if somebody tells me they're against the FBI, if they tell me, you know what, we need to get rid of this whole system, I don't really care if they're on the left or the right. If they're down with it and I'm down with it, then let's get the shit done. This is the problem. This is why I hate this two-party system. I hate it. I absolutely despise it.
One-party system.
Everything is about left versus right. People are so blinded. They can't even look at just particular issues anymore. Now it goes on from here. She goes on to say, if you take right-wing money while running against progressives, you're a conservative. If you use right-wing talking points against progressives, you're a conservative.
She's talking about herself here. She took right-wing money and ran against progressives. She's a conservative. You use right-wing talking points against progressives, you're a conservative. That's total projection. And let's not fail to mention this little gem right here. Okay, go on.
When did Jimmy Doore run against I'm confused. When did Jimmy Doore run against a progressive? If you use right-wing talking points against progressives, you're a conservative.
Yeah, Jimmy Doore is a conservative.
What are the right-wing talking points? See, this is the thing. Like, this is vague. Give me some examples. You got to give me more than this. What are the right-wing talking points that you're referring to? I didn't see any examples mentioned. It goes on. If someone on the left is telling you that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert are potential allies to the left, you're witnessing a grifter that is doing nothing but putting marginalized communities in danger. We don't build coalitions with right-wing authoritarians. Okay,
You're
well,
a right-wing authoritarian.
Ask, what about black people that are conservatives?
What about Joe Biden? He's a right-wing
Right?
authoritarian. She sucks his ball sack every day. Nina Turner does, not Sabby. Sorry. Should have been more clear about that.
This is the problem with the left-right divide, putting marginalized communities in danger. What about the marginalized communities that are on the right? This is making the assumption that everybody that's black is on the left. They're not. And black people are leaving the Democratic Party, not joining it.
Everybody should leave the Democrat Party.
I can't with this. So
Unless
it makes me really sad. It makes me really sad because at the end of the day, all this back and forth, and we haven't accomplished anything.
That's the goal.
Not one damn thing. This is going back to 2016 when Bernie first ran. What have we accomplished? What have we won? What have we done on the left besides a couple of progressives winning their races and going into DC and siding with corporate Democrats when it comes to legislation? Out. What have we accomplished on the left? Nothing. It's been what, 6 years? Nothing is getting done. Nothing. I'm so pissed. I'm livid. I was just at a housing project here in Boston. People are having their freaking ceiling separating from the damn wall. More people are still being evicted. Tent communities are growing. People still don't have health insurance. People still don't have dental insurance. But what we got right now, what we got here, we got someone who sat up there and ran twice in a row, and the Democratic Party screwed her twice in a fucking row. And here she is, sitting up here, still pointing fingers at the right instead of pointing fingers at your own damn party that has continued to screw you over multiple times.
Just like sellout Sanders.
Nothing. I'm embarrassed. It's embarrassing. I gotta be honest here. It pisses me off. I get so tired. Sometimes I get tired of this. Constantly telling people we need to support these policies. Constantly telling people you need to come on over to the left because we really agree on the issues. And I'm telling people that, and then they don't want to even be involved. You know why? Because they see shit like that.
That's
because they said the left is too divided. Because they said you got people like Nina Turner and Jimmy Doore yelling at each other back and forth on Twitter.
That is not a bug. That is the feature. As long as rich people keep the peasants divided and fighting amongst ourselves over bullshit like this, we're not getting out the pitchforks and raiding the castle. This is not a bug. It's the feature.
Sorry, want no part of it. They said that the left are too pure. There's too much of these purists. And they feel like they don't have a home here. Everybody needs to hear this. Who's on the left? You need to hear this. Sometimes on this side, we can come across really kind of condescending to people who are not there yet. people who are not on the left. And I got to tell you, I've talked to a lot of people, and you know what? It is a fucking turnoff. It is a turnoff to a lot of people to see someone like Nina Turner, who was a progressive candidate, and someone like Jimmy Doore, who had a lot of these progressive candidates come onto his show. Sometimes it was the first platform. To see that we're not even in community together. We went from being together on the issues to being divided over personalities. And I'm so sick of it. I'm tired. And I know a lot of us, we've all bought into it. I've been guilty of it before too. But this is fucking embarrassing. You don't see this on the right. Do you see Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro going at each other like this? Fuck no. And at the same time, we've accomplished nothing.
Once again, that's the feature.
So what I hope that you can take away from this discussion tonight is that I wish people pay just as much attention to the people getting kicked out of their damn apartments, to the people sleeping on the damn streets because the tent communities are growing. I wish people pay just as much attention to that than they do to this. And they don't. And I know, I see the numbers, you guys. I see the numbers on my videos. Whenever I talk about those issues, those videos always get less views. So the algorithm works with what you're clicking on. What are we going to do? Where do we go from here? Are we forever for the next couple of years going to continue arguing with people back and forth on Twitter?
Yep.
Are we going to build an actual community and get shit done?
Yeah, that was really good. I don't know. 6,300 and I'll like this again on this account, but yeah, I don't know what more to add on that she didn't say other than you got to forget about the red team and the blue team. They're both exactly the same. Yeah, I hope everybody watches this video and she really breaks it down. It's hard to add anything more to what she's already said.